Well, that is Jamaica, and I've come around the eastern end of Jamaica, and now I'm just sort of traveling along the northeastern coast, and in a moment I'm going to jibe and then head into Port Antonio, where I'm going to be able to hopefully check into Jamaica, get diesel, meet Marit, and just get everything shipshape before continuing on to Cuba. This last part of the trip, having gone around the eastern point of Jamaica, has been the only part that hasn't been fairly close on the wind. So now I'm on a broad reach, which is a nice change in a way, although actually the movement of the boat is more rolly, so if anything it was more comfortable going into the wind a little bit. I was expecting to have to change back to the mainsail, to be honest, because it looked like the wind was going to get lighter for this last part of the journey, and we are a little bit underpowered, but it didn't get as light as I was expecting. We've still been able to make 5-6 knots pretty much all night, so I just didn't bother. I just kept the trysail up. Obviously it's a lot less work and it's nice to have the boom stowed away, so that's been great. So yeah, I just got to jibe one more time now, first intentional time of this trip, and then a couple more hours we'll hopefully be there. So yeah, been a good trip. A few questions people have been asking. Some people noticed this arch at the back of the boat, which is new. That went in Linton Bay. I've got some footage of forging that and installing it, and I'll explain. Well, I'll just tell you now. It's to, somewhat ironically, I guess, seeing as it broke anyway, but it's to protect the autopilot from the main sheet when I'm jibing or tacking. Even sometimes there's some slack in the main sheet as the boom comes across, and it can catch on the autopilot, and I was always nervous about it ripping it off. So that's what that's for. I'm yet to really know for sure if it works, because I haven't been doing that much maneuvering yet. And what else was there? Oh, some people are asking about all the displays showing the wind information and so on. I'm going to do a little post or video explaining that in more depth. And yes, some people also noticing about my life vest and what I've got on it, and the clips and so on. Obviously, clipping in is a good way to stay on board. The idea of clipping in is not so much to be able to climb back on the boat if you fall off, although obviously you would try to, but the idea is to prevent you from falling off in the first place. So the lines that you clip into ideally should be sort of close to the center line of the boat, so that you can't physically fall off while you're tethered. Because obviously if you are tethered and you fall off, it's not going to be easy to get back on. It's not always even going to be possible. It might even be worse, being dragged along, possibly upside down. So as always, the key rule is to stay on the boat. I got my VHF. I keep a little handheld VHF on my jacket. It's not even on at the moment. It's more of a contingency thing. That and the little Garmin InReach mean that if I were to fall overboard on my own, I would have just a little bit of connectivity, and might be able to hail a passing ship or ask for rescue through the InReach. But I think even with those, I treat the idea of going overboard as almost certain death, because that's a good way to think about it, and it keeps you on the boat. Well, we're just a little bit early, so I just hove to just outside the harbour because the marina's not open yet, and I don't want to anchor. I think you're not allowed to anchor even if you're not checked into the country yet, so just going to wait and tidy up, drop some sails, get things ship shape, and then call the marina. I've got my queue flag up already, and when they tell me I can go in, I'll go in and we'll get checked in. Good morning. Yeah, I called a few days ago asking about coming into the marina, and I'm actually just outside the harbour right now. All right, thank you. I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye. Right here? Okay, great. Hi.
Hi.
Could I have this one right here, please? Thank you. This one's not tied off yet.
You alone sail, man?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're
Yeah.
brave, man.
Brave or stupid?
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
All right, Cap. These are the papers that you need to fill out.
Okay.
Quarantine first, because they
Okay.
will come to you first, okay?
Okay.
And custom and immigration will come after. And
Okay.
then after we can deal with the office, okay?
Perfect. All right. Thank you, guys.
Come on, thanks.
Thanks.
You're planning to find someone here in Jamaica?
All right. Well, we're here in Jamaica, and look what I found.
Hey.
Marek flew in the same evening of the day that I arrived in the morning. Where did you come from, and what have you been up to?
I flew from the Azores. I did a delivery from the British Virgin Islands to the Azores, and then I hung out there for a bit. Hung out with some friends.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yep. Good to have Marit back on board, and we have spent a few days here, and we are spending a few days here in Jamaica. Initially, I thought we'd just stop and get diesel and go, but you know, it doesn't always work out like that. And there's been quite a lot of stuff on the boat to tidy up and get ready and get prepared and work on. What have you been? You've been helping out a lot with that. What have you been up to?
Well, I think when I arrived, it was kind of the chaos upon arrival. I helped tidy the deck, dry out all the sails, de-rust the vice.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So I mean, when Marit got here, I just arrived the same day, and I hadn't had a chance to tidy up anything yet. But one of the biggest issues that I had on the passage from Panama was water getting in through some of the deck openings, like the mushroom vents up forwards and the forward hatch as well, the spurling pipe where the chain goes through. When there's that much water on deck, it just finds its way through those things in quite large quantities. So yeah, a lot of the forepeak was really, really wet with salt water, and the vice got covered and turned out, ended up very rusty. Marit's been helping get stuff dry and cleaned up, but I really need to figure out ways of making those openings more watertight at sea, because it's a real pain while you're on passage, and then to have to clean it all up afterwards is a lot of work as well. You probably noticed, by the way, we're in the middle of a thunderstorm.
I will say that I was drying things out yesterday when it was 85 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
So not today.
Not drying stuff out so much today. And I've actually turned off and disconnected the batteries because we've had some bolts of lightning really close. I had a really good passage from Panama here to Jamaica. Obviously it wasn't without its challenges, and any passage like that is going to have challenges, and there's always going to be something that goes wrong. And relatively speaking, everything went pretty well, and the problems that I had were manageable, and it was definitely challenging at times, but very rewarding as well, and really happy to have done a single-handed passage like that on this boat, a proper crossing. Like I said, probably the main issue was the water getting in. Apart from the situation with the autopilot, which I've already talked about, crash jibing, which I should have spotted that before. I should have been inspecting that more often, and I could have prevented that. I could have also had a preventer on the main, which I didn't think really I would need because of the point of sail, but it might be a good idea to have one on anyway. But because the sheet wasn't all the way out, the boom didn't have as far to travel across. A crash jibe when you're on a run and the sheet is all the way out, it's going to be a lot more severe.
I thought you used the preventer because it's all rigged up.
I did at some point.
Yeah.
But when you're closer to the wind, the sheet isn't as far out, the main doesn't have as far to slam across. And then the other thing is the jibe buffer, that piece of original machinery, and the point of that, and the reason it's called a jibe buffer, is to absorb the shock of a jibe and of a crash jibe. And so I'm really glad we reinstalled that piece as it was, and it did its job. And without that, it could have easily torn out some of the fittings out of the aft deck. So that's pretty cool. What else? Other takeaways? I was really, really glad of the radar and AIS alarms. And I was telling Marit, it was so calm and quiet down below, and sometimes I would wonder if the wind had stopped because it just felt so quiet and calm. I mean, there was movement, there was quite a lot of rolling, but it didn't feel violent at all. And then I put my head up out the hatch, and it would still be blowing 30 knots, and the boat's still screaming along. So that's really cool. That's a really good thing about this boat. And I'm really happy about the trysail. The boat, it just made everything so easy and quiet without having the boom. So I think we'll probably use the trysail more often on any passages where there's forecast to be a bit more weather.
I will say, when you switched to the trysail, I felt relief.
Yeah.
As watching your passage.
Yeah. Yeah, that boom is a handful. So overall, really good passage. Really good to be here in Jamaica. It's great to have Marat back on board. We're here a few days, getting things prepared, and then what's the plan?
Here a few days, then we go to Cuba.
Yep.
Drop off the supplies.
Yep.
Go to the Bahamas, and pretty much stage for our next passage, which we're not sure where that's going to be. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Could be anywhere.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of footage to process to make my more traditional videos, but I don't know at this stage how or when I'm actually going to find time to do that with our current schedule. So in the meantime, hopefully you guys are still enjoying these sort of shorter updates. Let me know if you are, if you aren't, and also if there's any sort of specific questions you have or things you want to see, and I'll see what we can do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and of course thank you so much to everyone who has supported this project, this boat, this journey. It makes it possible for us to maintain and sail this boat and make these videos, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.